Welcome you all to the course on Gender Studies. This is the 9th episode in this series. Let me tell you the 3 objectives that I have framed for this episode on Emily Dickinson's poem, I'm Wife, I have finished that. The first objective is to make the students understand the 19th century spinster life. The second objective is to encourage them appreciate the images used in the poetry to distinguish or differentiate wife and spinster. The third objective is to enlighten them about the gender roles and quest for identity as inspected in the poem. Now let me read the lines of the poem. As it is a short poem, it won't consume much time. And moreover, Emily Dickinson is known for her short poems. I am wife, I have finished that. The poem also begins with the title lines. I am wife, I have finished that. That other state, I am Caesar, I am woman now. It's safer so. Second stanza. How odd the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. I think that yet feels so to folks in heaven now. Third stanza. This being comfort, then that other kind was pain. But why compare? I am wife. Stop there. So this poem was written in 1861 by Emily Dickinson, who is known for her short poems as well as much philosophical outlook is found in every poem of her. She usually writes poems in the theme of love, soul, death, immortality, and some poems on society as well, her outlook towards society. Now, here in this poem, she describes a society, in a society that values marriage highly and spinsterhood not at all. The spinsterhood, the creative spinsterhood, finds outlet in work, art, or else just thumbs their nose at society. So spinster is considered to be the state of isolation or loneliness. But most of the married women might think that spinster life is joyful as they are lonely. Emily Dickinson is a spinster. She took joy in her poetry, her baking, her nephews, family, friends, garden, and in love. So in the poems, she takes the 2 roles played by women. One is wife, another one is spinsterhood. Obviously, she is a spinster and she might not have the experience of being a wife. But she imagines herself as a wife to begin the poem because the poem begins in first person. I'm a wife. So by this time the poem was written, she would certainly have been considered a spinster. But she imagined herself as a wife for the sake of the poetry. She has much frustration towards her spinsterhood, the current status she was holding. It is explicited or expressed through the poem loudly and clearly when she says that other state. So the married women consider the spinsterhood as other state, as if we go for the dichotomy, self and other. But here, this comparison to be wife is to be a Caesar and a woman. The change is put in cosmic terms. She also uses the word eclipse. So as a wife, she is able to view life from the sunny side. and to look back on the girl who on the far side sees only a dark disk hiding the sun. But it is a soft eclipse, as if one step a girl goes from the dark to the light. The transformation seen from the bright wife side. Therefore, wife side is very sunny, bright, and it likens to life after death, because the wife is talking from the heaven, the folks in heaven. And the girlhood seemed to be odd to her, or earthly people. That is how the girl's life looks to a married woman. It seems to be odd. How can a woman be a spinster? How can she survive? It seems to be odd, different. Marriages are made in heaven. Therefore, wife is talking from heaven as we assume it. So people often feel sorry for the poor spinster who must stay in perpetual girlhood. But not only odd, the poet says it's safer to be wife. How it is safer to be wife? She's not clear, but she says it's safer to be wife. We can imagine that 19th century scenario permitted her to say so or pushed her to say so. She was a spinster, a poor spinster, and since she has experienced the life of a spinster or the spinsterhood, she finds wife is a safer role to play. Because the perpetual girlhood often threatens her. She is not able to live alone. The 19th century girl and spinster must worry about protection, income, and their place in society. Often the woman's identity is found along with the men whom she belonged to. So women didn't yet have the vote, couldn't hold many jobs except low-paying ones at the time. Therefore, women were confined to home, and it was not safer for women to be mere spinster. She has to promote herself to get an identity or to get a financial support or to recognize her place in society, or at least to have some protection in her old age. So think of what it might mean in a fundamentalist country today to be a woman. Women are considered to be inferior to men, who are considered easy prey by the unscrupulous. So she thinks it may be safer to be wife. In fact, at the time of writing this poem, Massachusetts had more unmarried women than other states, many of whom announced their rejection of marriage on principle or because they wanted the freedom. So, the spinsterhood was considered to be freedom. They rejected marriage abruptly. But many of the poems of Emily Dickinson speak about loneliness and pain. So perhaps she meant it be safer to have an anchor or soulmate. That's why she recommends to be wife. She recommends everyone to be wife for being safer. So the state of marriage she consequently called comfort. So married woman has some comfort, while the other has only pain. So she uses the two words, comfort for married woman and pain for spinster. But then in a flippant ending, I'm wife, stop there, she says. So the ending nicely ties with the first line, I have finished that. So I'm wife, stop there, and I have finished that. I don't want to talk anymore. Once I have become wife, it is useless talking towards other things. Why not become the other state, the sense spinster? Therefore, the dreamy and thoughtful second stanza contrasts to the first and third stanza. So the other state she mentions is spinsterhood, and the effect is simply the belittlement of spinsterhood. So spinsterhood considered to be belittled in the poem, while married women seem to be glorified at the expense of spinsterhood. So who is leading the great life? Either wife or a spinster? Whether she has given any concrete answer, but wife stands for comfort. She is safer and living in a bright or sunny days. So spinster stands for odd life, strange life, full of pain, and even the earthly life. Stands for something that she cannot escape or enjoy the heavenly fruit that wife seems to taste. So which is the right and wonderful state, we are yet to decide. So I am wife, I have finished that. The other state, I'm Caesar, I'm woman now. It's safer so. So I don't want to talk about the other state, because I am Caesar, I am ambitious, and I am woman now. So married woman has got the state as woman. Otherwise she will be called as girl. So how are the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse? So she is looking at the girl's life below, and she is looking from above. So the below above status can easily connote to the higher status that wife is holding and the lower power the spinster holds. I think that the earth feels so to folks in heaven now. So earth, where the spinster lives, seem to be something inferior to the folks in heaven, that is, wives who are living in heaven, or it can be said at heavenly days. As I told you before, marriages are made in heaven. This being comfort, then the other kind was pain. So the wife says, this being comfort, my state being wife is a kind of a comfort. Then the other kind obviously was pain. When one is a comfort, the other must obviously be painful. But why compare? So she has almost told everything. After that she says, why compare? She has done it. She has literally made the comparison, and finally she says, why compare? It seems to be ironic. Tamil சொல்ற மாதிரி நமக்கு ஏன் பாம்பு? I'm wife, stop there. So I'm wife, stop there. The sense, here something is pricking to us, the ending lines. I'm wife, stop there. I'm wife, I have finished that. So it seems wife, the role of wife as pictured in the poem, safer, comfort, happy days, heavenly days. But the implied idea is that she feels so. Being a spinster, she knows the fact that whatever the wife imagines are not true. Right? So we should not look at the poem as if it is narrated, but we need to look at the poems, the loopholes, or the other way, that is, it should be seen from the perspective of a spinster. So spinsterhood matters because the poem was obviously written by Emily Dickinson, a spinster. So if you look at the poem in the point of view of a spinster, it will be other way around. It is totally upside down. Right? It will be totally upside down. So we cannot simply say whether wife's role is better or spinster's role is better. It is in one's perspective. The wife does not know the painful life of spinster. The spinster does not know the tragic life of a wife. It depends on the perspective. So with this note, I conclude or wind up the poem. Thank you so much.